Hello from our library. I have now 6 bookcases in this room and none of them are organized. So today, well, in this video, I am going to be spending some time trying to sort everything out, make it make more sense. And I've already kind of started, not really, but sort of. So I want to show you what I've got, what I'm working with, and then kind of give you my plan, and then we'll speed it up so you don't have to watch me work as slow as I know it's gonna be. So let's kind of move on. I want to show you, I'm in love with this room, but I think I'm gonna be even more in love with it when I get the books to where I want them to be. So let's flip the camera around. Over here, and then in this gap over here, I had all of our CDs, but I did go through and sort through everything just because I know a lot of people want to get rid of their CDs. I like them. I like having DVDs and CDs and hard copies of things. And since we bought them, we might as well keep them, right? So I wanted to organize them into genres, which is done. So they're sort of organized by type, but I just don't like the way that the shelves look, and I think I can space everything out a little bit better and make it fit better. I have a little bit of help. Hi, honey. You're so pretty. Alright, so here's a little bit of an overview. I've got some really crowded shelves, one that's half full, and then 2 really empty ones. So what I want to do is I would like to have these photo albums to the point where they can stand up. Right now the shelves are too short, so they can't stand up because the photo albums are too tall. So I need to sort of finagle some shelves. And I'm thinking that these 4 shelves, 1, 2, 3, 4, are all gonna go over here on one of these, and also the CDs, because they're really short. So I think I can squish the top for the CDs, kind of spread the rest of it out, and make these fit, I think is what I'm gonna do. Some of these things I'm really happy with the way that they are, you know, like together. And some of them I'm not like happy at all. So I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna make it better. It's gonna be beautiful when it's done, but it's gonna take some time. So I'm gonna put you guys up on the tripod and I'm gonna get to work. It is the next day. I was well, not sort of, I was totally interrupted yesterday because we had some people coming to the house to do some work for us. And the work that they did yesterday was actually so that we could have some other work done today. We're extending the pavers on our driveway, and we're adding like a trash pad for our trash cans and a pad for our grill back in our backyard. So we had to have our sprinklers moved yesterday so that they can install the pavers today, except it's raining, and somehow I don't think they're going to come to install our pavers today, but none of that matters because none of that has anything to do with what's behind me. So I'm really happy with the progress I made yesterday, but today I'm determined to make some more progress on these shelves behind me. These books over here are actually going to move over to that shelf. I know that. I know I'm going to put those there. Other than that, I don't have any like set plans for where I'm gonna put stuff. I just know that I'm gonna be able to spread things out, give them all a little more breathing room. I think it's gonna be nice. And there are some books downstairs in Mom's room that I think will probably come up here. So I will plan spaces for those. But anyway, I'm gonna get back to work. I just wanted to let you know what happened yesterday. So it was sort of interrupted. Kind of don't mind because I was kind of getting not tired, but sometimes I just need to take a couple steps away from a project so that I can process. And then coming back in here today, I'm really excited to get back to work. So that's the plan. I'm gonna put you guys back on the tripod and I'm gonna get back to work and we'll see where we can get to today. Got a sleepy cat over here and I've got a sleeping dog over there, but I think I'm actually to a quitting place with the shelves. I'm really happy with the way that it has turned out. So let me kind of walk a little closer and give you some more details. I'm not going to go into the details of every book that we have, but I will kind of talk you through how I've got things organized. But I think it's nice because we don't have all that much empty space. We've got some empty space up there, and we've got some empty space over here, but I'm gonna go ahead and go into some more details about how it's organized because I really think that I like it and I think it's gonna work for us. I closed the curtains so it would stop messing with the light, but this one is a little bit upset with me about it, but I think she'll live. Okay, so we've got our bed over here. This is a guest room. This chair is not going to stay over there, but just to kind of orient you, you walk in the door. Here's the bed. I'm calling this shelf number 1. At the top, we have some CDs, and I will say they are double stacked, so I just went ahead and did CDs on the top shelves of both of these. So there's 2 rows. It works, it's fine. They just needed to be up and out of the way, and I love that they're not in those plastic containers anymore. This saves so much space. And then the top shelf here, these are all books that I used for my school, my MBA degree, for my paper project, final project that I made. They were all necessary. Some of them I read were fun. Some of them I read and they kind of made me a little bit angry just because of the way that things are, but they are important to me and I do want to keep them because I do hope to go into that field professionally, so I do want to hang on to them because I think they're important. The next shelf is just like D&D, Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, Monster Manual 2, this is a magazine, and then this one is Stage Makeup. So these are all like Emma's books. Emma is into D&D. I have never gotten into it and I'm a little bit jealous, sort of. It's something I wish I'd gotten into, but you know, can't go back and change time, so maybe in the future. And then I've got a crochet, Afghan sewing sort of section. These are all hobby books, dog training books, and a golf handbook, a photography basics book. And then these down here are all textbooks. Probably don't need to keep these, but until I find a place to take them that will actually use them, they will just continue to live here. And then photos are in these boxes here. That is a memorabilia box from Mom's wedding, and I'm not sure what's in that box. I think it's old Christmas cards from when Emma and I were kids. And then all the way across the bottom, photo albums. All the way across the bottom over here, photo albums until you get to this white binder with the red label. And then that is all piano music and Christmas music and songbooks. Then above that we've got more photos and more smaller, shorter photo albums. Above that is yearbooks. So we've got Mom's high school yearbooks. I think these are Mom's college yearbooks. These are my high school yearbooks. And then we've got some more songbooks that are a little bit shorter. And then up here we've got a national park book, some agricultural botany sort of plant books because we do want to plant our garden, and then some Panama Canal books. The next shelf up is just a strange assortment of shorter, fun, like not happy reads, but short reads. Interesting reads. These are books that we might actually take on a cruise with us and leave on the ship just because they're short, they're interesting. There's some mythology and philosophy. This one is called Be Happy. I don't know. But we don't really read or reference these, but it is kind of nice to have them all together. So if we ever go on a cruise that we want to take and leave some books, here's some that we can take and leave, because that's something we like to do, because we wish that Disney cruises had libraries on them. And they might have like a small shared library, and so we like to kind of add to that when we have the opportunity. The next shelf up, I'm calling this our self-help book section. So these are not nonfiction, but you know, this one is The Guide to Overcoming Procrastination and The Art of People, Born for This, Originals. These are organizing books over here. So this whole stack, and then these two. This is one that I've been trying to work through. It's called French Women Don't Get Fat, The Secret of Eating for Pleasure. And I think it's really interesting because it talks about how French women don't go on diets. They just eat what they want. They just, you know, they limit themselves in other ways, and it seems to work for them. So anyway, that's our self-help book section. And then, like I said, at the top, CDs. So the first shelf over here, let's start at the bottom, it's just Harry Potter. I would eventually, one day, someday, like to have the, what's it called? The illustrated versions of these books. These are all the hardcover copies. I think that this box set is one that we bought for my dad from the Scholastic Book Fair. And so, like, they're all really, really in good condition, which is nice. We do have another 6 over there. Don't ask me why we have 2 of book number 6, because I have no idea. We've got a Harry Potter magazine, and then the Tales of Beedle the Bard over there. Moving up, we've got all of these books that I want to call like historical fiction toward this side, and then over there is a little bit of like, not adult fiction, but it's not like young adult fiction. It's more grown-up characters in the books, I guess. And the ones that are facing outward are some of my favorites. Like Titans is probably my favorite book of all time, aside from Pride and Prejudice. And The Forbidden Garden is really cute too. It's like a grown-up version of The Secret Garden, which is a children's book. Moving up to the next shelf, I have my Jane Austen shelf, and this is all Jane Austen except for this bottom one, which is Jane Eyre, but all 3 of these books are by the same illustrator. And I think these copies of these books are so beautiful. Like, that's Pride and Prejudice, and here's Emma, and then Jane Eyre. I think they're so pretty. They've got a bunch of special features inside the books too. But I think, like, isn't that stunning? And I love purple. I just think that's so pretty. And then these books are like a laser cut cover, and they're actually released seasonally by, I think it's Thomas Nelson is the publisher, and there's only 10,000 copies printed, and they're all individually numbered. So they're essentially first editions, but they're reasonably priced, and I think they're so beautiful. They're pretty hefty, and they come with a beautiful bookmark. Plus they have like a ribbon bookmark in them. I love those. And so I've been slowly collecting them. I have Persuasion. This one is Emma. That one is Sense and Sensibility. And then I have a couple more over here. The Secret Garden, the Wonderland Collection, A Tale of Two Cities, and then this one is Dracula. How cool is that? So let me put her back up. I have Anna and Elsa on this shelf because this shelf is my fairy tale retellings shelf. And this series over here is the Lunar Chronicles series. And I adore this series so much. I would love to pick it up again. It's so interesting. So I think I might read those again soon. Also, this author has another book that I read called Heartless, and we don't own it, but I think I want to buy it because the more I think about it, the more I think I liked it. So I think it would live on that shelf too because it is a retelling of the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland. The next shelf up, starting over here, these are historical fiction. This one is one of my favorites, A Countess Below Stairs. It's just such a beautiful story. It's one actually that my sister introduced me to. And then these are all other books by the same author, Eva Ibbotson. This one is a story about the Chicago fires. It's very interesting. I really like that one. And then we get into the mystery section. So I've got my Agatha Christie books over here, and then a little collection of Sherlock Holmes stories, and then Nancy Drew, and more Nancy, and this shelf is all Nancy. And then up here we've got some, I think it's Arcturus Publishing cloth-bound classic books. So they're all in like sets. This is a Jane Austen set, and then it's a Bronte Sisters set, and then it's a Charles Dickens set, and then it's Anne of Green Gables, and this one over here is Mark Twain. Moving over to the next shelf, we have some Barnes & Noble children's stories. These are in hardcover, like leather-bound covers, and they are really, really nice, but I kind of want to get rid of this one because I can't stand the story. It's just so terrible. These are books that I got from an antique store, and one is Gone with the Wind, and the other one is This Is My Story by Eleanor Roosevelt. These are more children's books in hardcovers. I love them, and they're a really good size because they're a little bit smaller than these. So moving down, now we've got all of our Barnes & Noble leather-bound classic editions. We have been collecting these for a very long time. We've been collecting these for, I want to say, 10 years. We do have a bunch of these, and I really like to read them just because they're so substantial. My buddy's leaving me. It's kind of sad. We've been through most of this shelf down here. These are those Thomas Nelson, like first edition books, and I've just got them kind of facing out because I don't have anything else for this shelf. Eventually, you know, if as books come out that I want to buy, I will buy them and put them on this shelf, and it will fill up. So I just thought I'd show off the pretty covers while I have the space. Over here, these are cloth-bound copies of some more Charles Dickens books. So I have these, and then I have the ones up here on this other shelf. But I don't have any duplicates, which is really interesting because this set up here didn't have all of them. So I just got some of them in these copies, and they're not the same size, so I'm keeping these over here, and it's fine. And then down here I have some of our taller classic editions. This one over here, the Centennial Edition of the Annotated Wizard of Oz. I got that one at a used bookstore called Tidal Wave in Anchorage, and I adore it. And The Princess Bride, I don't think it's a special edition. I really don't know, but it's just such a fun story. The movie is really fun, but the book is hilarious. It's so good. Alright, 2 more shelves and I'll be quick about it. Up here we've got a little bit of miscellaneous fantasy. These 3 short books here are what we own of the Wheel of Time series. Next is one of my favorite newer fantasy series. It's written by Elise Kova, who actually lives in Tampa, Florida, and I would love to meet her one day and have her sign my books because I love this series. I really, really love this series. Now this is the series, and this is a trilogy that's sort of like a companion to this story. So there are 3 stories in here about characters mentioned in these books. It's very good. I do recommend it. I also own the ebooks of that series just because I love that story. I really need to reread that one. And then I do have a gap here because I know that there's one more book in this series that I do not own yet. The Red Queen series, and then the Chronicles of Narnia. Down here, this one is more of I want to call this a dystopian shelf. So this is the Selection series. This one's actually fantasy, but I put it here because it fit. This is the Hunger Games. I've got my Delirium series. And yes, it bothers me that one of them is hardcover, but that's what I have. And then Divergent. And then I have my Tolkien shelf. I have this little jar here to hold that cover in because the book is currently downstairs because I'm still reading it. I never finished it from my cruise. So that's, downstairs so I can finish reading it. I've got Tolkien's edition or translation of Beowulf. We've got the Tales from the Perilous Realm, some other stories that accompany his universe. This is I think it's the 50th anniversary 1-volume edition. And then I bought these because this 50th anniversary edition is actually starting to show some wear that I don't like. So I bought these on betterworldbooks.com and they came so fast and they're in great condition. I love them. And then this Letters from Father Christmas is actually a book of like Christmas letters written by Tolkien to his children as if he were Father Christmas. And it's beautiful, and it was a gift to me. And then I've got my illustrated version of The Hobbit, which is the only version of The Hobbit that I own. But I think that the illustrations make it easier to read somehow. And then I've got 2 versions of The Silmarillion. I purchased this one at Tidal Wave because it came with a map. And it was also a really good price. It was $9, and I'm willing to pay $9 even if it's just for the map. So there's my Tolkien shelf. Then at the bottom of this shelf I've got some Winnie the Pooh stories over here, and then I've got 2 little Winnie the Pooh stuffies, plushes over here, and this is a flower pot that was hand painted. It's just so precious. And then I have my special, very, very special, enormous Disney coffee table books. I have gone through these. The pictures in here are stunning. I'm not going to get them down because they're very heavy, but I love them. And then below this is another Disney shelf. These books, The Wonderful World of Knowledge, were given to me by Adam and Sherry because they were going to get rid of them, and they offered them to me, and it was very generous and very kind, and so I'm very grateful to have them. And then these, They Drew as They Pleased. These are so interesting. If you are at all interested in Disney animators or the way that they worked or their style, I definitely recommend these. I can just spend hours going through these and looking at them just because the pictures in here are so stunning, and then the stories are beautiful too. This last shelf is probably the least interesting shelf. In the very top we've got some smaller paperback copies of classic literature. And then over here are some hand lettering books and a book of stickers that was a gift. And this is my baleen whale from Utqiagvik in Alaska. I bought him up there from a native craftsperson, and I regret nothing. He is a bowhead whale, and I think he's beautiful. This shelf is just fiction. Sarah Dessen is by far one of my favorite authors. She writes a book, I'm gonna buy it. I've had these since, oh gosh, 6th grade maybe was when I got my first one. So I've been collecting these for a very long time. And then we've got some other fiction. Some of these books are Emma's books. Like, she reads the Wednesday Wars a lot, and I know it's a favorite of hers. She also really, really loves these Royal Diaries books. I think it's one of her goals to collect those the way that I collected the Nancy Drew books. And I'm going to encourage that goal because I think that it's really a fine objective. Moving down another shelf, we've just got a strange mishmash of books. And I wish I had a method to this madness, but I don't. These books just didn't fit anywhere else on the shelves. Going down, we've got some nonfiction. These are like memoirs over here. And then some coffee table books. These back here are notebooks. And the bottom two shelves, well, the bottom shelf is all children's books. So these are like Dr. Seuss and some tiny little board books. I wanted to put these low, so if we ever have kids visit, they can just pull a book off the shelf and read it if they want to. I want to encourage that if we ever have kids visit. And then this section over here is all Christmas books, all of them, from the Treasury of Christmas Tales to the right. That's all Christmas books. And then these over here are fairy tales and bedtime stories. And yes, some of these are from when my sister and I were kids and Mom read us stories from these books. So yes, they're very special and they're very old. So that is our completed library. We are going to add some books over time, probably not immediately, but I will say Mom has been sort of asking me if we can go to a used bookstore, and I am definitely not opposed to buying a whole bunch more books. I think the next purchase I want to make is going to be the Wheel of Time series that will fit right up there. I'm sure it will. I'm absolutely positive. But anyway, I think that's going to be it for today's video. It feels good. Gosh, it feels so good to have this project done, and it didn't take as long as I thought it would. So I'm very happy. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You guys will see me in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.